Thousands of displaced residents in the Nepali capital have expressed anger towards the government, as they face food and water shortage, a day after a magnitude 7.8 quake hit the country and killed more than 2,500 people. As rescuers continue to dig through the rubble on Sunday, the densely populated capital Kathmandu faces a chaotic situation with hospitals running out of medical supply, and thousands of people, who are camped in open-air areas, are left hungry and thirsty, according to Al Jazeera reporters on the ground. A lot of people taking shelter outside in open spaces are without food or water, Al Jazeera's Subina Shrestha, who is in Kathmandu, said. People are very angry with the government for being left in the lurch. Al Jazeera's Simmons, who is also reporting from Kathmandu, said there's a great worry about how people are going to get by, with many instructure destroyed and the power out. He also reported that the frequent aftershocks, including one at magnitude 6.7 on Sunday morning, have rattled the already jittery survivors. Kathmandu is going through an absolute trauma of extraordinary proportions following the worst disaster to hit the Himalayan nation in more than 80 years. At least 1,152 were reported killed in the capital. Relief agencies have already warned that as many as 6 million people might be affected in Nepal by Saturday's disaster. Hospitals in the Kathmandu Valley, the quake-affected region with 2.5 million people, were overcrowded, running out of emergency supplies and space to store corpses, the UN said in a statement. At overstretched hospitals, where medics were also treating patients in hastily erected tents, staff were forced to flee from buildings for fear of further collapses. There was a little more order on Sunday as rescue teams fanned out across Kathmandu. Al Jazeera's Simmons also reported that rescuers and medical staff are also making their way to other parts of the country, but the congestion at the airport has slowed down their deployment. International aid groups and governments have sent emergency crews to reinforce those trying to find survivors in Kathmandu, and in rural areas cut off by blocked roads and patchy phone networks. On Sunday, plane loads of supplies have begun to arrive in the capital, along with doctors and relief workers. The Red Cross said it was concerned about the fate of rural villages close to the epicenter of the quake northwest of Kathmandu. The number of casualties is expected to climb as reports come in from far-flung areas, Laxmi Thakal, a Home Ministry official, said. Among the dead are 17 who were struck by an avalanche on Mount Everest that buried part of the base camp packed with foreign climbers preparing to make their summit attempts. At least 5,000 people were injured across Nepal. The quake destroyed expanses of the oldest neighborhoods of Kathmandu, and was strong enough to be felt all across parts of India, Bangladesh, China's region of Tibet and Pakistan. Kathmandu's historic 9-storied Harahara Tower, a major tourist attraction and a UNESCO-recognized historical monument, was among the buildings toppled by Saturday's earthquake. The disaster is likely to put a huge strain on the resources of this poor country best known for Everest, the highest mountain in the world. The economy of Nepal, a nation of 27.8 million people, relies heavily on tourism. The world reacted quickly to the disaster, offering money, relief materials, equipment, expertise, and rescue teams. Among the first to move in was Nepal's neighbor India, with which it has close political, cultural, and religious ties. Indian Air Force planes landed on Sunday with 43 tons of relief material, including tents and food, and nearly 200 rescuers, Vikas Swarup, India's External Affairs Ministry spokesperson, said. Weather forecasters warned that rain was on the way, with dark clouds looming over Kathmandu that promised more misery for displaced survivors. The U.S. Geological Survey said the quake hit at 11:56 a.m. local time, 6:11 GMT, on Saturday.